It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Jackson Williams. Titans on the practice field for day 2 of camp, and rookie quarterback Cam Ward met with the media yesterday and talked his early connection with wide receiver Calvin Ridley.
I just think someone who understands me, where I want to put the ball. Is someone who's not fast but slow in his routes, but that man's a gazelle. Like, he doesn't get tired. He's explosive off the ball. It's the reason why he's the top 5 receiver in the league. And with me having him for my first year, like, he's gonna get the ball. So is our other receivers. So, I'm excited to have Red by my side. I know he's gonna stick by me.
Jets quarterback Justin Fields carted off the practice field today with a toe injury from getting stepped on in practice. He suffered a dislocated toe, according to Ian Rappaport. And more Titans news. Titans and pass rusher Jihad Ward have agreed to terms on a contract. Ward is headed into his 10th NFL season and has 19 career sacks. Ward spent last season with the Minnesota Vikings. For our foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. Day 2 training camp is in the books. We'll get some observations from Blaine, but we'll also have Easton Freeze on later today at 2:20 p.m. as well. But first, a couple people in the chat have already said it. But happy birthday to you, Blaine. It is your birthday today. The Weatherman and Benz on the FNN Bank chat, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live have both weighed in and said happy birthday. So there you go.
Yeah,
happy
I appreciate all the people on social media as well as all my former teammates. We're in multiple group texts since my career went so overlapped. So, yeah, with the Titans and Oilers. So, yeah, man, that was really cool. And some guys even called. So, yeah, I appreciate all of that. Yeah, man. Fun times, man.
I mean, I have to say, tons of July birthdays at the station.
I know, right? Buck was last week?
Yeah, Buck was,
you were too,
I
right?
was July 16th, so... Yeah, and then Slay is July, if I'm not mistaken.
Is he? Okay.
I think so.
What about,
am I right on that? I think so.
I want to say, oh, no, I mean.
Yeah. Lots of birthdays, though, in this summer.
Yeah.
I in fact, in my my friend group, there's a lot of July birthdays, too, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. And I just met someone, one of my mutual friends with my wife, a couple friend of ours. They just got engaged, and the fiance, he and I share the same exact birthday.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of crazy. I've never met anybody. So, like, it's just July is the month.
Is there no stats on why July's the month?
I don't know. I don't know what has happened. It used to not be. I used to be the only July kid.
I'm about to tell you why. Because in the fall, spring, everybody's in the house. So that's why kids are born in July.
A lot of people.
7 months,
see,
9 months.
So
I don't know
9
if I made
months.
it.
That would be around November.
Yeah,
so
they get all comfy when it gets cold.
A little bit of Thanksgiving loving. Maybe some football teams winning games and some celebrating.
A lot of excitement there.
There you go,
Jackson.
There you go. I have to have something I got to get off my chest, Blaine.
Uh-oh.
So yesterday, as we were leaving, I mentioned that I was going to go put some aloe vera on my face because my cheeks, I don't know if I got maybe minor case of rosacea or not. That kind of runs in the family. But like I get a little, I can feel heat and red. Like I'm sure when people see me on like while you were gone, it got really hot in the studio one day.
Oh.
And I think I was just running hot, and I'm sure my face, got really red.
You turned the air off, Jackson?
He probably did just to screw with me.
Yeah, just to mess with Zach.
The Grand Poobah back there.
Yeah. People with the name Grand Poobah shouldn't give themselves that name. Other people are supposed to give you that name. That's why I've been making fun of you. You can't give yourself that name.
Zach asked me for a name. I thought of the funniest one I could think of.
You cannot give yourself that name.
And so through Rachel started talking about, and there were people in the chat that had the audacity to say that I'm pale. And I don't know. I mean, I know that these cameras and these filters, but I got some color too.
You got some colors. Now Jackson is pale.
Yeah, Jackson's pale. Ross is pale.
Look at that orb right there.
I mean, I am not.
We got to
pale.
get you on the screen, man.
Yeah.
We got to start doing triple screen. Can you do triple screen even when you're in the studio?
I think it's like a camera angle that just shows the entirety of the studio from top to bottom.
It should be a yes or no.
I'm working on it.
But
I didn't know if you could, though, be honest.
I got called pale by many people in the chat. And I was like, I'm not pale. I got color.
You got a little tone to you.
I mean, I'm like 75% Bulgarian, I guess, if the math is right.
What are we talking about here?
So I'm just saying, Bulgarian. My granddad was full-blooded Bulgarian.
Oh, I didn't know that. You said that before. I don't remember that.
No, I probably haven't said it. And see, on my dad's side, they're Irish and Scottish, so they are pale. They're actually all redheads too. So they are pale.
I have some redheads in the family.
I am a tan person.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not as tan as I usually have been.
Some shade to you.
Yeah, I got a little bit of shade.
Pale,
it's the cameras. You know how the people say the camera adds 10 pounds? The camera makes me look yellow for whatever reason. I don't get it.
Oh, it could be the backdrop there that you have. It's yellow.
But speaking of 3HL, because I do have to say I agree with Dawn about something, and she got a lot of flack in the chat. People really think this defense is going to be really good. And last night, the Tennessee Titans did improve their defense. They went from having a guy with 0 sacks that retired on him to signing a guy with 1 sack last year.
You're so wrong with that.
With 1 sack. But I look at it and I go, this defense is not going to be the defense I think people expected and saw last year. And I think we saw some holes last year with injuries and other things not going their way. But this defense is built to stop the run and not much else right now, it feels like. And there is no pass rush. They keep signing guys. I said jokes yesterday, Blaine. I said they had one guy retire on him who had 0 sacks. They signed this guy that had 1 sack after he retired. If we can get 9 more edge defenders to retire, we may be able to sign someone that had 10 sacks last year. Just keep adding one.
Well, that will happen because they won't let that guy won't be available. I mean, but we also, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to overrate or underrate. Sacks do matter, but a lot of these guys that keep signing that don't have sacks or maybe 1 or 2 sacks, they're getting a lot of pressure, and it's not as bad as it seems. I'm going to just say that. Okay, good example was Shamor Stewart. The guy went first round. Didn't go first round. The Bengals is holding out because they won't give him his fully guaranteed contract. He had 0 sacks, didn't he? I went and watched tape of him, and I mean, I watched every single game. And I'd be dang if I didn't love him. I loved him.
Yeah.
There was nothing about his game. He was always around and affecting the quarterback. So I don't know if it's the same in the league, but when I watched the guys that they signed, I was not, I then kind of okay, the numbers, aren't as bad as it seems just because they haven't had the production. It's almost okay, if you looked at my career and said interceptions, right? I mean, so there's not a lot of them around there, but when people and teams say that they're scheming to stop me, then what kind of impact do I really have?
Right.
See? So, and I'm not saying that they have that kind of impact, but I don't want to overrate the sack number. It is important. Good, solid players, not special players. So they can be productive, and maybe they're trying to 4 or 5 sack guys across the board, even though those guys didn't get there. They were around the quarterback and could have potentially got 4 or 5 sacks. It's just kind of the luck of the draw. Just like, Jeffrey Simmons could have had more sacks as well.
Do you think Brian Callahan, I've heard of him say now a couple of times, and I think Denard Wilson may have this offseason too, that they missed a lot of sacks. Do you feel like they missed a lot of sacks last year? I mean, obviously in that Drake May 11-second pass.
Oh, well, yeah, that was.
I mean, they missed a lot of sacks on that one, but I can't recall. I don't know where they. I mean, I'm sure they keep up with that stat.
I'm sure they probably. I mean, every team probably keeps up. They probably miss a sack or 2 every game. I'm sure. Yeah. But I can't recall. I can't. I'm not even.
I mean, Jihad Ward has been in the league since 2016, and he's kind of one of those guys where you kind of know what you got. And listen, he's taken over for Lorenzo Carter, who was one of those guys that you kind of know what you got.
Right.
And he's versatile. Because they let Keandre Coburn go, who played some snaps for them last year. I wouldn't say he's an impact player, and this is not some big loss, but he was a steady player that they could rely on as a backup.
Yeah, he was.
And I think with Draymond Jones and Jihad Ward being able to have some positional flexibility, both have experience on the defensive line.
Inside.
I think they were like, okay, we can let Keandre Coburn go. He has a chance now to maybe latch on to another team fairly early in training camp. And I look at it and I say, but still, where is the pressure coming from? It's just hard for me to get excited about this defense because I get that their idea is that they're going to make the quarterback uncomfortable by attacking up in the middle. Their idea is that, in theory, the opposing offenses are going to be in 3rd and 7 or longer because, hey, we stopped them on 1st and 2nd down in the run game. Not a lot of teams go run, pass anymore, but that's what their kind of approach. And I understand it from a philosophical perspective, but when it comes down to even pinning your ears back and rushing the passer, is it just Arden? I mean, I feel like Arden Key is your best guy at 3rd down doing that because he's the fastest. But, I mean, it's still not an impactful player. So, I mean, from a defensive side with you, Blaine, like, how do you look at it and say, okay, this defense is built. This is what they're telling us they're trying to do. Do you think it can work in today's NFL?
Well, yeah, I think it can. I just first it always starts. I'm not going to talk about the defense.
Okay,
is this defense good enough to help Cam Ward be a
Right.
good first-year starting quarterback? I know it starts with the offensive line and his playmakers, but you also got to make the field shorter and got to make plays and got to turn the ball. I just don't know if they're going to be good like that. But here's what's more concerning. I feel like they're dominating our offense, at least through 2 practices. If you had to say who won the first 2 practices, it is no question the defensive won. See? And so then you say, well, our defense isn't a dominant defense, is what you're saying, right?
Right.
Well, then what is our freaking offense then?
I would say offense. Well, I will say this: first team offense won yesterday, but I wasn't there today.
Throwing a pick?
They didn't throw. Cam Ward didn't throw a pick yesterday.
Barton didn't get a pick? Or is that today?
No, that was today.
Oh, okay.
And then the other picks were minicamp.
It was a terror. I call it a terror route.
Yeah.
He got his hands on it. He should have picked it.
There were
that first
2
day.
picks today.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he didn't have anything that I saw. Now, he had some mini camp picks, and that's what they were talking about today. But yesterday, I think Cam Ward was almost perfect.
How do you judge that?
As far as
Like, if it was a good day or not? You throw a pick. That was a pick 6.
yeah, I'm talking about today was.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But defense, that's what I said. Offense won yesterday, defense won today.
Offense did not win with the dink and dunk yesterday.
Well, I mean, that was the game plan, though. Like, I mean.
No, that doesn't win.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure it does. You can't do that throughout the whole game, but I mean, that was what they were practicing. They were practicing screen passes.
Well, they did. No, they threw some deep balls.
Yesterday?
Yeah, they threw some deep balls.
They threw maybe 1 deep ball with Cam Ward. And that was to Traylon Burks, and Traylon Burks didn't come down with it.
I think I feel college mode when I watch the offense. And when I say that is, I'm talking about, I feel like they're regurgitating what head coach Callahan is saying. When you hear Cam Ward talk about, our offense is going to be ranked one of the best ones, and he's regurgitating what somebody said. Well, first of all, you can't say that. You ain't even played in this league. You don't know what y'all going to be.
Yeah.
You have no idea until them live bullets get going. So when I watch practice, that I don't see right now. I don't see any dominant play. Now, one thing I could say, Jeffrey Simmons was dominating today. I'll say that. Zeitler, he need to go back and make sure he start practicing. Yeah. So I could say that he is a dominant force, and now he's faster. It is, and he kind of is being kind of quiet for him.
Yeah.
And I like him that way because he let his actions
like
do
a
the talking.
silent assassin.
Yeah, he let his actions do the talking. Allen looked better today. He made some good throws. I saw him do some timing routes. So that was exciting to see. Even Boyle threw one across the middle was impressive. And that was, I think it was Allen to your boy Burks on a deep dig route coming across the middle. And then he kind of turned up, had some little wiggle to him that I hadn't seen him do in a long time. So that was impressive. I'm waiting to see like where this team is going to be effective on the weekend. One thing you can say about Cam Ward, he has a quick release and he is a quick reactor when things aren't where they're supposed to be and open, and he can get that ball out quick. I mean, at a split of a boom, like even when things break down. That may save them sometimes.
Yeah, but not every time.
It's not going to do it.
I want to talk more about this offense because something you just said sparked something in my mind. I want to ask you about the Tennessee Titans and this practice plan they had put in for the first 2 days of training camp. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. So we were talking about the defense, looking good at practice, which is not a great sign for the offense.
Now, well, the defense has an advantage with no
Yes.
pass. Let's clear that up because they can get penetration. It's kind of hard without the pass. So that, in theory, it's just like no different in 7-on-7. The offense really has an advantage.
Right.
So when there's no pass and he goes 11-on-11, defense has somewhat of advantage, at least in the trenches.
And there are good things to take away from that.
Yeah.
Specifically the defense win because Cody Barton's play recognition says is out of this world.
I told you, I love how he diagnosed
So,
plays.
I mean,
in
to
film.
me,
He ain't changed.
as much as we may be harshing the vibes on the defense and or how the defense has looked better than the offense and what that may actually mean for the offense, is that out of everything you can say, Cody Barton, he said, I instantly recognized the play they ran yesterday when he got that interception on Cam Ward. And that's good, right? You want a guy that can look at the tape, recall it, see it, and react. That's really good. But I do wonder, it feels like the kids' gloves or training wheels are still on this offense. And I don't know if it's because it's an open practice to the media or the fans are there. I don't know the reasoning for it. But I feel like they're treating this offense very milquetoast right now. Is that a good bland? It feels bland right now. And that doesn't mean that that's what it's going to be come the regular season. But if you're trying to get real life reps in training camp, are these the real life reps you want to be getting right now? Like, I mean, are what we see, or is what we're seeing from this offense, Blaine, indicative of what Brian Callahan says he wants the identity to be, which is an explosive offense? Because I don't feel like this looks like explosive plays and explosive offense right now.
Well, that's really hard to say. I mean, 2 practices in, but I'm not seeing that quite yet. But it could be that they're working on certain things. I think they're even working on red zone on the weekend. So it's still not open up. But maybe they're trying to ease guys in because you want to save their legs, and then they're going to start being in pads. So it's a different philosophy with the way they have to practice now, and then jumping right in it. So it's hard to say. I just don't want to. It's day by day. But what I'm really looking for on the offensive side is how is Cam Ward reading the coverages, making adjustments at the line. I saw him do this multiple times in practice today. Changing a play, checking out a play. Sometimes he checked to the wrong play, but that's okay. He has a great understanding. So I think that's more part of this whole process to see how far this offense go. The reason why I say that is because when Marcus was young, it's almost like he never checked out of plays. Tannehill, veteran player, checked out of plays all the time. See, so you want to put your offense in better position. So for him to see that already is a great sign. Now, is he going to know everything already? No, but it shows he has a great understanding of the offense because that's what I look for. His quick release and all those things are all playing action. His scrambling ability, and Ridley almost made a great catch. Great defense by Woods there to knock it out at the end on a little scramble play, which would have been a real scramble play too, by the way. And he put it on the money. So he's got some attributes that are really, really unique. We're starting to see, at least me personally. So I feel like I need to see more, and I need to get more out of the offense to see it. And I don't know if I'm going to see that until he actually really plays in a game. I don't know if we're going to see it in practice with full pads on even. I don't know.
Yeah, it will be interesting because I agree with you in the sense that you're seeing everything you really want to see Cam Ward this early in camp. Because, everybody's like, well, it's a rookie quarterback. Yeah, that's all true. But everybody said that, last year Levis's excuse was as a rookie quarterback, and he's just learning the offense and all that kind of stuff. And we saw how that turned into. So you want to see your quarterback doing this stuff, checking in and checking out of plays and at the line of scrimmage and being vocal. I love the fact that, hey, after he throws an interception, he goes to Cody Barton, asks Cody Barton what he sees. That way he can kind of work on that as well. And of course, they do their film study and stuff. But this is all stuff that you want to see from your rookie quarterback this far. I would like to see a little bit of a maybe deeper threat coming up here and there. I'd like to see him I like to see that he's aggressive and decisive. I want to see that a little further down the field. And maybe that's just not what they're practicing right now, which is completely possible. Wow. But I go back to the last few training camps with the offensive line and how the defensive line was dominating, Andre Dillard and dominating all those, bad offensive lines. And we thought, oh, man, this defense is going to be good. And then it just turns out the offensive line is bad and the defense was bad. It wasn't as good as what they... It was
average.
It was average. And, if this defense continues to dominate this offense, and that's the theme, because that was the theme last year. The defense won a lot last year against this offense. If that continues, that's not a good sign, and we have to realize that's not a good sign. We got to be honest with ourselves. And that because this defense is not built like that. Now, they have a chance to maybe prove us wrong on that when it comes to regular season, but this defense is not built to be stopping an offense regularly and regularly dominating and being the quote-unquote winners of the day every training camp. Because that's what it felt like last year. It felt like last year,
defense won more often than not.
My God, way more often. Yeah. And then they were talking, they kept downplaying it. And what happened was that you got a pretty basic defense that couldn't carry a putrid offense. And I know we're talking about patience, and I know that we have talked about this team maybe is a 6-win team, maybe it's a 7-win team. We haven't really settled on a number there yet, but we know it's not a playoff contending team. But, man, if this offense continues to lose days to this defense, that's a bad sign for this offensive line, and that's a bad sign for this receivers, and that's a bad sign that this could put a lot of the onus on everything being Cam Ward being a perfect fit for Callahan's system, even if everything else around him is below average, which is not good.
Well, I mean, it's still early. Last year was the first year for the offense, trying to get knowing the players. I mean, that's a little bit different. This year, you got new, younger players, so you still have a built-in excuse, and they're just developing. You don't know how quickly they're going to develop. And you got some pieces in until they get the pads on. We'll see what Moore is, Latham, and all these guys. They're going to be, going to be solid. At least they have to be better than last year. I've said that before, but there's no way that could happen again. They don't have any elite pass rushers. So even Femi, I think he still was doing the same things that I saw on film as you mentioned. Yeah, I didn't see him getting. There was opportunities to get around the corner. I didn't see it.
It's like he doesn't know how to get around the corner. Does that make sense? I mean, it's like it feels like he's got the leverage, and then he loses leverage almost at the point of impact. I mean, and I get it. I know that it's early, and I don't want to make sweeping proclamations, but we can look at this roster and be honest. The offense has the better roster. On paper, they have the better players. Those 11 players on offense should be better than 11 players on defense currently, especially with no L'Jarius Sneed out there. And it doesn't feel like that enough for me to be very confident that, hey, maybe things are turning around. But like you did say, what you're seeing from Cam Ward is what Brian Callahan wanted to see out of Will Levis, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And he didn't get that. So maybe, yes, this is a losing season, but maybe it's a little bit more of a tolerable losing season.
Right. They're going to be
that's really
much
the
closer
point.
In the games. And, it was a little fascinating. I don't know. Remember I asked you the question about what third or fourth round picks at wide receiver did well their rookie year?
And we came up with 6 out of 61.
Yeah. And so I don't know if we're overrating what we're seeing out of Alec and DK and how much they really going to have an impact in a game and when the season starts. And then we all know when you're a veteran player, you could start off early in camp. Lockett looks good. Jefferson looks good. But there's a reason why they're at this point in their careers. So eventually they're slowly going to, not be as productive. Maybe as the season goes along, maybe that's when all of a sudden these young guys step up. So
That's why I've been pretty adamant, Blaine, that I think it's week 1, Van Jefferson, Tyler Lockett, and Calvin Ridley out there. I don't think the starting 3. Does not mean that Eligai Manor or DK don't get like 5 snaps apiece, but I think it's going to have to be an eventual process for those 3 guys.
Or they rotate them all around, so I would assume they're going to rotate them.
Yeah, but you, especially if you're going up against Denver, that's who you want. You want the veterans.
Watch this. Silent count is going to be ruckus. Denver is right. I mean, it's just, this is going to be tough. Like, people are going to laugh at me. I never said this, but I wanted to say it. This is how you set up players for failure. I would have started Will Levis first 3 games. See, that was my thought process. And then now you have the perfect excuse. You didn't play well. We gave you a shot, even with better players. You didn't get it done. You can't run our offense. Boom, Cam, let's go. Because now you can fracture him a little bit in these games because these defenses are going to be dominant. I forgot who they play. Who's the second game and the third game?
The Rams.
They play some good defenses. And I'm like, that was what I was envisioning in my head. And as much as I didn't think Levis was the guy, but you just never know what could happen. Then if he played well, you just ride with him till he doesn't.
Well, let's look at Caleb Williams because like we said, Caleb Williams statistically got better as the year went on. He looked, his stats match up outside of the rushing stats, match up with Jaden Daniels. Mm-hmm. But they still went 5-12, right?
Right. Well, he made some bad plays at defense O-line in critical moments. Yeah. But he
played a lot better than people give him credit for.
Right.
But he started out against Tennessee, 14 of 29, 93 yards.
He did not look good. Yeah,
he started out 23 of 37 against Houston the following week, 174 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That could be the first 2 weeks for Cam Ward, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world. But then he kind of turned it on in the middle and the late of the season.
The Chicago market, and it's not Tennessee market. They were ripping him.
And maybe he got lucky because
going to rip Cam Ward.
Well, maybe he got lucky because Eberflus was there, right? Maybe they got lucky.
Oh yeah.
Because really, Cam Ward will do no wrong. For the majority of people, it will be always someone else's fault. I've learned that about Will Levis. I've learned that about Marcus. I've learned that about a lot of quarterbacks at Tennessee, except for Ryan Tannehill. It's always someone else's fault. and it will probably be everybody else's fault than Cam Ward. And that may be true. Does not mean Cam Ward can't get better. But there is a good chance, like you said, that he's going to start off just like Caleb Williams.
Yeah, it's going to be rough sledding against
those
teams.
And that's why it's about the season-long development. It's really, we've talked about in this show so many times, it's not about the wins and losses. And I know that that's what the general fan measures success by for a team. And I know that's probably what the ownership measures success by for a team. But at the end of the day, even if he starts out like Caleb Williams, if he ends like Caleb Williams and the team around him is getting a little bit better, that's a win for the team. And that would be, depending on how everything else goes besides Cam Ward, would be a very good reason to keep some coaching stability. But I have to say right now, and kind of going back and looking at how Brian Callahan handled the offense last year, he's got a lot that he's got to prove along with Cam Ward. It's not just, it's about Cam Ward's development as a quarterback over the year. It's about Brian Callahan's development as a play caller and as a head coach as well. And I have to say, I get the practices, you work on certain things, but like you said, the defense did look better today. And I don't know, I'm a little nervous about how this season is really going to go. Because is it going to be like last year, or is it going to be like the Bears last year?
So
I can put up with the Bears last year.
Right. But you say the offense has more talent, so that means the offense is supposed to be winning almost every day.
They should be. They should be. That should be the expectation. I'm sure that's the expectation that Cam has for this team. I'm sure that's the expectation that Brian Callahan has for this team. I mean, what is it? Saturday's the next open practice? Right? They don't have an open practice tomorrow, right? At the stadium. If the offense does not look good, there may be the alarm rate level needs to be raised a little bit.
Oh, they'll make sure that the offense look good.
They need to. They need to. I mean, I look at this offense for the Bears, And the Bears fired their head coach in the middle of the season. And their offensive coordinator, they promoted one, and Caleb Williams was still able to develop. So to me, there's no excuse for Cam Ward that he can't develop. Him and Brian Callahan cannot get this thing working out. If they can't, then Brian Callahan has to go. They got to make sure that this offense is on the right track and trending in upward direction. It may not look great week 1, week 2, and that's why I think they put out all the veterans possible for the majority of the game, because they'll at least be at the right spot at the right time. But you have to see that progress through that first. Although if you don't see progress by Thanksgiving, it's bad.
No, I'm gonna say the first quarter of the season.
Okay, you're going first quarter.
I gotta see some progress, and I'm not even looking at the win losses. I know everybody else will be fans, maybe even ownership. But I want to see the offense and the defense getting better. If you are committed to playing young players, you gotta know they're gonna go through some hiccups and make mistakes. Let alone the quarterback, the other guys that got on offense and defense that are young players too. So yeah. Oh, well, Winston was out there today. We looked really good today.
Oh, yeah, we haven't talked about
Kevin
Winston.
Good today.
But
yeah, he looked good. Matter of fact, I think he got a strip call.
He did? On who? Jackson's boy, Josh Wiley.
Josh Wiley. That's who it was. It was a tight end. I was about to say Gunningham, but it wasn't him. Yeah.
Bad day for the Wiley Hive.
Yeah, bad day for the Wiley Hive.
Wiley may be getting on the chopping block, man. I don't know.
I will say this, because I see that Kent is in the F&M Bank chat, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. He says, how many times have we heard on the station during camp is typically how it goes. The offense balls out one day, the defense shows up the next. That's the camp seesaw. Mm-hmm. That wasn't the case last year. That could be the case this year. But last year, that was not the case. Defense won heavily. And you saw what was the best unit last year is defense, and it still wasn't good enough, really to really impact your win-loss record.
Where did they finish? 20th or
like
something?
20th, 17th. It depends on what stat you look at and all this kind of stuff. Because they were really high in yards allowed because the opposing team's offense had favorable situations, starting field situations. So,
See how that's not complimenting one another?
Right.
And that's a
whether
recipe
that's
for
special
disaster.
teams or offense, that's not a compliment. And this team right now, its path to success is complementary football.
Yes.
And I don't know if you're going to have it, because I think it's going to feel like special teams is probably the good unit right now. It's the unit that I least worry about is special teams. And then I think there's going to be times where offense fails and defense is going to have to pick it up, but they can't. And I think there's going to be times that defenses fail and the offense is going to have to pick it up and they can't. Like, there's a lot of maybe they can't complement each other feeling to this team right now.
Why are you not worried about special team because of the coach?
Yeah, I think I'm okay with special teams. I think they're going to put more of an emphasis on having special team players at the beginning. So I'm not too worried about and that doesn't mean that I'm not concerned about, punting average and or being able to make a short field goal or something like that. It's just more of the fact that I think if I'm going to worry about something on this team, it's not special teams this year. You get what I'm saying?
For me, it's just the coach. I mean, he's a proven coach in this league for a very long time and really good, one of the best in the league. So I think, and that will then push them to make, I think, better decisions on the actual player, especially the end of the roster guy. So yeah, you talk to different people in this league, he is a special talent when it comes to special teams.
Yeah. And listen, we got a long training camp to go, right? We haven't even got to, joint practices. We haven't got to a preseason game. But we have 2 days of information. So we're going to talk on those 2 days of information. And right now, there is cause for concern. We understand that things change, right? Mm-hmm. We understood that maybe Levis gets better, or maybe the connection with Calvin Ridley and Levis last year was going to, start taking off in the regular season, and it never did. Yeah. And so there's a lot of truth to what you see in training camp. There's some stuff that changes, but we have 2 days worth of practice information that we need to talk about, and I think to raise some valid concerns about this team. We'll continue talking about this because I do want to talk about Kevin Winston and the play that he made today and talk more. And we're also going to do our offseason superlatives as well for the Tennessee Titans. And on top of that, we'll have Easton Freeze in the next hour. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. I did want to talk about Cam Ward real quick. I meant to talk about this on Monday, and hopefully he's listening. But I got a lift. No, but I got a lift ride. Well, hopefully he listens as well. Got a lift ride on the way down because I left my car here over the weekend. And so I got a lift ride on the way down. And I got into a car, had the guy change it to 104.5.
Bananas was the driver?
No. A guy named Random was the driver.
Random.
Rhandome. I did ask him how to pronounce his name. And he, for whatever reason, I guess I just really lucked out. He is an ardent Bengals and Miami Hurricanes fan.
Oh.
So I got a little bit of both. So we start talking. We talk about Cam Ward. We're talking about the quarterback series. And I asked him, I said, do you see any similarities between Cam Ward and Joe Burrow? And he says, drive and focus. And I thought that was what I was thinking. Those were the answers I was hoping. Because it kind of brings me to also talking a little bit about Jalen Hurts, Blaine. I don't know if you saw his quote yesterday. Yeah. But Jalen Hurts was asked if he will, quote, open up his play style more now that he's won a Super Bowl. And he goes, no, I've went a very long time being told I got to do it a certain type of way. That didn't get me the win. When I did it how everyone told me to, when you put so much energy into personal performance, you kind of lose sight of the main thing of winning. Since the loss in 2022, it's been my main motivation to find ways to win, regardless of how it looks. I just want to find ways to win, and that's the mentality I want this team to have. And this brings me all, because I think Joe Burrow's kind of that same mentality, like, I want to win. And I think Cam Ward's got that I want to win, that drive and that focus. All that to say is that I just have such high hopes for Cam Ward, the player. I really hope it doesn't have to end up being one of those situations that we've seen many, many rookies go through where they're constantly churning through head coaches, through coordinators, through schemes and all this stuff. I hope that there is a path between Brian Callahan and Cam Ward where Cam Ward can be who he is, and that results in wins no matter how it may look or how the process may get there.
Well, I want to ask you this question. Why do you think he was asked that question when he won the Super Bowl?
I think that's a ridiculous question, don't you? I mean, I just don't understand.
So you want him to change even though he won a Super Bowl?
So here's what I think. So here's my conspiracy theory hat, since you asked, is that I think that all these lists have come out, and there's been discourse whether Jalen Hurts is worth being even in the top 5 discussion.
But guess what he's talking about? I want about winning.
And so now everybody's thinking, well, he has to be a better passer, or they need to change the offense, or they need to do this, they need to do that.
That's wrong.
And I think it's, and listen, there was at a time where I thought that maybe Jalen Hurts wasn't going to turn into what he was or what I thought he was going to be in the pre-draft process. There was a little bit of like a year and a half to 2 years where I'm like, oh man, I don't know if this marriage is between him and Nick Sirianni and this offense is going to work. And it worked. And now that's worked, now people want to change it because he's maybe not in these lists. And I think that's ridiculous, and I think that's unfair. And I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves in the NFL. I don't think he gets it from fans. I don't think he gets it from media. And I don't know who specifically asked him this, but I find the question to be ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I thought it was an unfair question. You want somebody to change after it went to the mountaintop. See, and that's how you start division and divide. To me, that's what that is. Because now you want him down to do personal, individual goals, which then is not the concept of playing football. You have to be as a team and unit and work as one. And if that's sacrificing you and your numbers, you and your picks, you and your receptions, then you should be all in to help team get to the ultimate goals, which win the championship. And I don't think media people think like that because media is all built on individuals. What can I get from them? What can I get? Everything in media is about the individual and what can make me propel me as an individual media person. So they always think as individuals, where sports guys never think that way. They never think that way. So that's why I always ask, Man, that was a really odd question. I think it was a valid question, but like, why did he ask that after winning? That's like asking, well, you give him money now, and you now want him to play better. Well, you gave him the money when he didn't. Like, he gave you 5 sacks. That's what he is. He's not going to all of a sudden now have 10 sacks.
I'm with you. So, like, to me, I think Manny Te'o, and we've talked about Jalen Hurts before, but Manny Te'o did have something really smart that he said on Good Morning Football. He said Jalen Hurts is a Porsche, and the Eagles use him like a Porsche. He says he's trying to change the stigma of the being a quote unquote system player. Mm-hmm. They're treating him like the car that he is. Other teams may have done is have a Porsche and try to go off-roading with it. Mm-hmm. And that's what this media is wanting Jalen Hurts to be. Listen, he may not be ever a 4,000, 5,000-yard passer. But does he win? Does he put his team in the best position to win? Does he himself have fourth-quarter comebacks or game-winning drives? Mm-hmm. Does he, when it matters, show up? That matters just as much as having passing yards to me. I think we've become such a stat-driven, individualized society that everything has to be like it has to show up on the box score.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, not everybody could do what Jalen Hurts does. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's 1 or 2 players in the NFL that could do it, but to have his durability, his toughness, his leadership, his accuracy, his ability to know when to pass it, when to run it, his ability, even those tush push plays. Part of the reason why it's successful and so successful is because of Jalen Hurts. Not every quarterback can do that. We've seen other quarterbacks fail.
Josh
and some
Allen.
of it's the offensive line too. But it's a whole working vehicle. Mm-hmm. It's not, I think what people don't understand, because they say that Jalen Hurts has all the success around him or has all these great players, they view themselves as a team. They view themselves as an offensive unit, not, oh, the offensive line is really good. Oh, Saquon Barkley is good. Oh, A.J. Brown. They view themselves as a unit, and that's why that Eagles team is so successful. They are a team, and that's what this Tennessee Titans team needs to be. It needs to be a team of not individuals, because that's what it has felt like a couple of years here and there. It needs to be a team together fighting for a goal, for victory, and team success, not individual success. But the driver of the vehicle, Brian Callahan, needs to understand who he's got and what kind of vehicle he has. And if he doesn't understand that, this team could be in big trouble. If he does understand that, this team could be a much better offense than what we saw last year, even if it doesn't result in wins.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, I mean, I think he has the quarterback, when I watch, that fits his offense, like how he wants to do this quick throwing game, passing game within his offense, moving multiple pieces. So we'll see if that works out there. And then he's got him, 2 tackles now, which was a huge problem there. Moving Latham, who was a solid player to the end there. So, so we'll see. I'm excited to see it, but man, I'm just want to pump the brakes because I just want to make sure they do it in games live. It's hard to tell right now, but it's getting closer. Yeah. And sometimes players make systems, or do systems make players?
Well, I will say this. Players over plays is how I would view it. Players over plays. All right. When we come back, we'll talk more Tennessee Titans. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here at 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. And listen, we've expressed some minor concerns about this offense and this defense, but there is one thing that I do think is pertinent to talk about when it comes to Cam Ward, is that I do feel when he's on the field, he's NFL ready. Now, it's going to be difficult. Playing in the NFL is difficult, but I don't see that slowness, I don't see a slow reaction. Like you talked about his command pre-snap, which is very big for this team and very big for a rookie regardless. It just doesn't feel like a guy that, again, I go back to some of these other rookies, they don't feel like rookies to me right now.
Yeah, well, he definitely, this early, seeing him check out the plays, a couple times he probably checked to the wrong play, but he is definitely in command. But I was thoroughly impressed with that, as well as just his release, understanding without having a horn. To me, they should have a horn out there. After 3 seconds, you got to get rid of the ball, because sometimes it kind of makes it tough in game, because that's how it's going to really be.
Right.
Practice is practice, and you got to know when to get rid of that ball. But I think he has an internal clock. So I was impressed with him, seeing him live in action now with guys around him, how he stayed calm under duress, even when the pocket is collapsing, him still looking down the field, and then last minute with his swap. Man, it was impressive. I'm interested to see on deep balls how big his arm is. That sometimes it gets a little wobbly when it's coming down. Now, I could say McNair's stuff would wobble too, and it would get there, though.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a tight spiral, but that happened a few times, so I wanted to see that. But other than that, I think he's a cool customer. He is a quarterback. I keep saying that, and that means that he's a cool customer. He makes mistakes. It doesn't rattle him. Comes back with vengeance and is in now, okay, now I made a mistake. I'm going to move forward, and forgets about it. So he's not scarbarred or not trying to make something out of nothing because he made a mistake. He's continuing just to run the offense and what's presented to him, and that's all he can do. And so, I like the way he operates.
Yeah, I think that's...
I really do.
I think everything that we have heard about Cam Ward and seen about Cam Ward points to a quarterback. And I know that's like...
Well, there was times Will Levis, I felt like, was an athlete playing quarterback. Like, he's up there diving in the air and just like hey, man, don't, not in the NFL, man. You don't need all that. And they actually told him. Well, I think Vrabel did.
Yeah. Because it sounds so simple to say, well, he looks like a quarterback. Well, duh, he's a quarterback.
Right.
But, like, at the end of the day,
but his
you
mindset
either have it or you don't.
His mindset is a quarterback. And so I think he understands that. I mean, he's going to even get more so. He's going to throw the ball out of bounds. I want to start seeing that. I want to see him slide. These are things that I have to see in games that he'll do on a regular basis, because he's going to realize he's not going to be able to get away from some of these guys. And they're going to close fast. And when I say fast, they're going to come get him. And it's going to hurt. He's going I got to start really getting rid of
And all that falls under the umbrella of decision making.
Yes.
And how fast can you make a decision? And it seems right now he makes a decision pretty fast. And I was a little concerned from watching his tape, and maybe it's just a college thing now, but it seems like most of these college quarterbacks were waiting, not just Cam Ward, but all these college quarterbacks are waiting for someone to come open before they throw it, which means that you hold the ball a little bit longer versus throwing a guy open or throw into a
We got to have the confidence to do that in the league. And the guy looks covered, but you got to put it in a certain spot.
Yeah.
That's where accuracy comes into play. And I think he gets that.
Yeah, I do
He's
too.
been well coached. I think he understands each level, what he has to do to get better, to be successful. And that's why, I can't wait to see him in the game. And I really want to see him. I always talk about this. I want to see him, have some struggles. And he will these first couple games. I'm interested to see how he responds.
I mean, if he doesn't struggle against the Broncos and the Rams, then we may need to change the whole outlook of the season. Because, if those are the two, some of the two best defenses, people forget the Rams traveled all the way to Philadelphia, played in the snow, and gave the Super Bowl champions in the playoff, the eventual Super Bowl, all they can handle.
Yeah, they did.
And this Rams team has gotten better. They've gotten more experienced. And so if, for whatever reason, Cam Ward looks like really, really good against these two defenses, all bets are off.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, My pants may be off. I don't know at that point, but like all bets are going to be off because
would that be good for Jackson?
I don't know. But like,
Let's keep our pants on, everyone.
but like, I mean, that would be great. I just don't expect it, but that's a reasonable expectation. Yeah, that'd be a reasonable expectation not to expect that.
Yeah.
But if he does, that changes everything, and it would be great. Even if he looked better than what Caleb Williams did, and it still resulted in losses. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm kind of measuring up against. I'm like, okay, Caleb Williams had a pretty rough start to the year. Jaden Daniels had a pretty good start. If he's somewhere in between those two players and it still results in losses, that's a good sign for your team going forward, that at least you have the guy. And if you have the guy, you can fix a lot of other things going forward. May not be this year, but if you know you have the guy, you have a clear plan for 2026, 2027, and 2028 and beyond.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but this is all about how well Cam Ward looks and then how he develops throughout the season. But we were talking about wins and losses. How many wins and losses do you think the Titans are going to get this year? Jackson, you want to go first? You're the Grand Poobah.
Can I give a range or an exact number?
No, you got to give one. One letter, one number.
6.
Okay. Not bad. Somewhere there about.
All right. I think they're going to start off 1-3 because it's at Denver, then home with the Rams, home with the Colts, and then at the Texans. And I think they're going to win the Colts game. So I think they start off 1-3.
Okay.
And then you have at Arizona, at Raiders, New England at home, at the Colts. I think they go 2-2 down there, so that gives us 3 wins. And then it's 3 wins heading into the bye week. Come out, Texans at home, Seattle at home, Jacksonville at home. I think they win 2 of those, so I guess we're at 5. At Cleveland is 6. I think I'm going to go with 7 wins because I think they'll beat the Saints at home too, because I think the Saints are probably like one of the few teams worse than the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go with 7. That seems a lot higher than if you would ask me yesterday, but I think I would go through 7 because I've just been saying 5 to 6 because I feel like that's 5.5, right, is the win total. I think they go over, and I think it's 7 wins.
Yeah, I'm going 6.
Yeah,
I'm hoping I'm wrong, and then they get on a little run there, and then maybe get to 7, 8. Man,
what you really hope is that
they get hot, and
the bye week is after the bye week is pretty much outside of maybe traveling to San Francisco and having Kansas City Chiefs. These are all kind of toss-up games because some of them are at home, some of them are divisional opponents, and we know those typically get a little weird. So you're hoping that coming out of the bye, that Cam Ward is firing on all cylinders at that point. And if he's firing on all cylinders, that could change it may look bleak at the beginning. You may be looking at 3-6 heading into the bye, but coming out of the bye, you may be 7-10. And winning 4 games down the stretch, still pretty good. And 7-10, which I just have so many questions about the defense and really what this offense actually looks like in a game. But I think 7-10. I think 7
You
is
got
where
questions about the defense and how the offense look, but you went 7-10?
Yeah, I mean, I got questions, but I think my 7-10 really just stems from my faith in Cam Ward. And maybe that's misplaced faith, but I just from everything I've seen, everything I've heard, I mean, 7-10 I think is pretty good. And I look at the schedule. I mean, like, we'll see what Jacksonville is. I'm not sold on Jacksonville. I'm not sold on Indianapolis. I think the Texans are split. Like, some of these division games going to help them. I think they beat the Patriots.
They barely got them here at home last year.
Yeah, but this is a much better team than I feel like than that Titans team was last year.
And the Patriots aren't better?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe Drake May, it was going to be really on fire, but you got Todd Downing, who's never coached wide receivers, coaching wide receivers. So,
But they do have a head coach that knows how to put his players in position and utilize them the correct way.
But this may be the worst roster he's had.
And that's his specialty, though.
We'll see.
That is Vrabel's specialty, getting the most out of the least. I would say if I would have put a title to him,
I
That's
will
who
say
he got the most out of Will Levis.
Yeah.
He made us think Will Levis had potentially could be a star. Like he got some production out of him.
I will say he does have a very favorable schedule, so he may be feeling himself by the time he comes here, but he does have a very favorable schedule. But I don't know. I think the Patriots will be better than what they were last year, but I still think that in their own division, we're talking about a third or fourth place team in their own division.
What are the Titans?
Third or fourth place team.
Right.
But
Okay,
I'm thinking the Tennessee Titans will win.
Okay. I don't. I'm
pretty
hoping
confident.
they win, but I mean, you know how much a ruckus that would be if he came here and won?
Let me tell you something. If
Not just the fans either, by the way.
If he came here and won, I don't think Brian Callahan survives. And I know everybody's preaching kumbaya on patience, but I've seen this owner make some rash decisions.
I would not want to be him if that happened. That conversation was going to be on fire.
But I do think that 7 games in, I do think that Ward is going to look pretty good, and I think they can win that game. We'll see, though. When we come back, we'll be joined in studio by Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
You know, I've been talking about Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance for years because they're the leading experts in sports medicine and performance and the team physician for the NFL, college, and high school athletics across Tennessee. And TOA provides sports medicine coverage to more high school and college sports teams than any orthopedic group in the state of Tennessee. They have 29 locations throughout the state and over 100 physicians throughout Middle and East Tennessee to take care of all your musculoskeletal needs. And TOA also has 11 urgent care locations with walk-in availability 7 days a week. They offer direct access to sports medicine and performance, physical therapy, and nutrition. Personalized rehabilitation plans to enhance mobility, reduce pain, and improve overall physical function for patients recovering from injuries or surgeries. And TOA also offers sports performance training, a specialized program designed to enhance athletic performance and provide tailored training solutions for athletes, even at Grand Poobah's level. So please check out their services at TOA.com. Yes, that's right, TOA.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Easton will be joining us here in just a few moments. He just is pulling up, and we're bringing him into the studio real quick. Just had a quick question. We were talking about rookie quarterbacks and all this kind of stuff. For a defense, we've heard a lot about the tape's not out yet, or now the tape is out for the rookie quarterback. What are you guys watching tape from a defensive perspective just on the scheme, or are you really trying to find the rookie quarterback's tells at the same time? Like, how does that work from your guys' perspective?
Oh, well, you're looking at the scheme 1st, and then you're kind of looking at his tails. No different than with Cody Barton's and already figured him out, because he's a vet. And he relies on that because that makes him a better player. See? So as far as his talent, he's an average middle linebacker as far as talent, but he leans into tips. And he's watching film on him. He's like, hey, man, I know what y'all going to run.
Yeah.
Formation, So it's a formation, recognition, sometimes different personnel, same formation. Or you motion to the formation. Some guys can recognize it quickly. Some guys just will never get it.
Yeah.
It's just some guys just not going to be able to do that. So, and that's what he is, a smart football player. And that's what I saw on tape when I watched Cody Barton the whole time. That's why I loved him. And here's a good example. Who was the linebacker we had last year? Murray?
Yeah.
Much more talented. Not a smart football player.
That's right.
Can't see what Cody Barton see.
Yep, that is true.
And then recognize it and then react.
We got Easton Freeze now in studio. Easton from A to Z Sports. I was just during the break reading your takeaways from day 2 of Titans training camp, your little notebook. And I think we agree on this.
He got his Lake Tahoe shirt on. I mean, he was playing golf before you came in here, man.
I wish.
I'd like to know this, though. Why do you think the media is obsessed with Traylon Burks? Because this has been a thing, and we can't figure it out. You've said your first note about today is let it go with Traylon Burks. I'm begging. So
You're begging them.
I'm begging. Can we stop?
Because they're taking up the press conference with questions about Traylon Burks, and I don't get it.
He did catch one nice dig route today.
He's not an incapable football player. He's just not going to be on this team in a month. Can we accept the reality that the Traylon Burks story in Tennessee is written? The chapter is closing. There's a month left. I wish none of this vitriol is pointed at Traylon. I wish him nothing but good things on and off the field. He's been a pleasure to cover. I would love nothing more for there to be a career turnaround, miraculous, incredible turnaround for Traylon Burks in the near future in the NFL.
What if he stayed healthy and they cut him and goes to another team, and all of a sudden it's Vrabel's team, and then he's their best receiver on that?
More than happy to talk about it every day when that happens. But until then,
I won't talk about it at all.
It's not happening, so don't worry. But until then, can we stop? Can we stop?
I mean, it feels to me like the media is kind of treating him more as a charity case than a player, a Lifetime movie than a player. Because, even Brian Callahan said today, he's done some good things, but he's going to have to be productive. And now they're turning that into, I heard Steve Lehman on Buck's show say that this team, by their words, love Traylon Burks.
And see, that's what's frustrating to me, because it's this vicious cycle where these people who I know they've all watched the Traylon Burks story here in Tennessee. They know what his career has been up until this point. And they have asked Cam yesterday and Brian today about Traylon repeatedly. And then they get answers back. And their read is, this team can't stop talking about Traylon. Because you can't stop asking about Traylon. What are they supposed to say? That this guy's a bum, that he's not making the team, that you should stop asking? They can't. Cam is a great teammate. He knows what to say. He already called Traylon one of the top 5 receiver in the NFL on Fortnite before he was ever a Titan. We've been down this road. Stop.
I thought that was Ridley.
That was yesterday. He called Ridley a top 5 wide receiver.
He thinks this team has multiple top 5 receivers on it.
Yeah. They asked him to name on Fortnite his top 5 wide receivers, and he named 3 of them were Titans players.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he was just.
Right.
That's how Cam goes. He's
the best hype man ever.
Exactly.
What about when he says that this is going to be one of the best offenses in the NFL?
Well, he should think that. He should think that they're capable of being that. I think Cam is a very talented speaker. He's somebody that speaks very plainly in hyperbole, and it's so dry that it comes across to the untrained ear like he's dead serious about it. And while I don't think he's doing a bit saying that this offense can be really good, I think he's somebody that just has that. It's a positive but not very well adjusted mindset that an elite athlete has, where they can delude themselves into thinking something so strong that sometimes they manifest it, right? And Cam is saying, I'm going to manifest this offense to be one of the best in the NFL because I think that it can be. But like I wrote in that article, which I published and then ran here, I was like, Cam talked about this, Brian talked about this. I'm not going to cite those quotes because what they said doesn't matter about Treylon Burks. Stop listening to their words and think with your brain about what Treylon Burks has been so far in Tennessee, and then you'll realize it's not going to be a thing this year.
Also, if you kind of look at what practice was today, and Blaine said that, or practice was yesterday from my perspective, and what Blaine kind of echoed today as well, is that he's out there running with the threes.
Right.
He ain't running with the twos. He ain't running with the ones. That feels like it tells you a lot about really what the pecking order is, because we're talking about 3 wide receiver sets, and he's in the group that would be 9 through 12.
Absolutely. Another small observation of mine, which
7 through 9,
which I think is telling, is that these first couple of days, the Titans have, I think their game plan offensively in practice has been very intentional, easing guys back in, and they have been doing a lot of underneath stuff, a lot of run stuff. Like, we're not pushing the ball downfield just yet. But the exception to that, both of these days so far, has been, we're actually going to throw a couple trail and go balls. And that's because that's just about all they want to use him for right now. Like, let's just make big man run fast downfield and we'll throw him the ball and see if he can come down with it. Now, he's not particularly great at that either, historically speaking, but it's just these little things, where he's playing in the pecking order, how they're using him, a big thing. What his career has been up to this point, this should tell you we need to quit wasting our time on this discussion.
So much better questions we could be asking.
Many. Do you have any of them for me?
Not for you. You can't answer.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Only Brian Callahan can answer
That's
the questions
fair.
I got. Jeffrey Simmons, the edge rusher, people making too big of a deal about this idea that he's going to play edge when he's kind of played edge a couple of different times. It seems like they're just going to do the same that they've been doing.
I can't decide if it's too big of a deal. I think that making a big deal about specifically playing edge, like it's something new, to your point, like he has done it before at a low rate. But I don't think it's making too big a deal of the general topic of the way that this, like the Titans' composition on the defensive front is something that it's one of the few parts of this team I really don't think I have nailed down in my head quite yet. We know that they've gotten bigger. We know that they're emphasizing stopping the run. And we know that the edge guys have gotten bigger and the interior guys have gotten smaller. And it's become like a positionless basketball build of a defensive line. Now, I'm not expecting them to bounce guys in and out all the time, but I do think there's going to be some versatility there. And I really don't quite know what to expect in terms of how guys are going to be deployed. I find it fascinating because to my knowledge, I can't think of another team that has really intentionally built this way. I'm sure there have been, and maybe that's a case study that I need to do over the weekend to see how has this gone in the past. But it is unique and it is certainly different from what the Titans have been. So I don't think it's too big a deal. I'm excited to see what it looks like.
32 sacks last year. You take an over or under that this year?
I'll take the over just because it's hard to have that few sacks. That would mean they had something in the 20s for sacks this year, which I think is brutal.
We got Easton Freeze in studio of A to Z Sports, covering everything that he's seen from Tennessee Titans training camp the last 2 days.
Well, Easton, what are your thoughts on Brian Callahan as a head coach going into his second season?
What a broad question. My thoughts are positive. I'm excited about I'm most excited about seeing the flashes of his offense that when you really, and I know Zach has done a lot of this on this show, on F Words. I've done a lot of this in my writing and on A to Z Sports, the morning shows. Like the bones of a good offense are there. The flashes, the ability for this scheme to get guys open and create positive plays. You saw it over and over again last year, and for many, many reasons, it often didn't work. And so I'm excited about the prospect of primarily Cam Ward being able to operate the offense in a way that we really didn't see at all last year. I'm excited about, I think, the lack of limitations that some of these newer, younger athletes have in terms of their ability to separate, their top end speed. Like, I think you're taking the handcuffs off of Brian Callahan just a little bit if things go to plan with the ingredients at his disposal. And so I'm excited about what that's going to look like. I also think more broadly, away from just the offense, but to the head coach of it all, he's talked about how he's more comfortable in that role. Mm-hmm. And I think that you can kind of see that when he's at the podium, but also just kind of observing him and the way that he handles his job while we're there at the facility. He seems more like a head coach than an offensive guy than he was last year, which I think is a natural progression.
Well, I asked it broadly because I want to follow that up with this is, do you think he's a head coach who believes that his system works or that the players make the system?
It's a good question. I mean, I think because there are examples of both of those things working in the NFL. Like, I would point to, I think when we talk about, well, this coach wants the players to work for his system, not the system to work for his players. That's generally a negative connotation. And I think it mostly is. But then I see guys like Kyle Shanahan, who, if you're a player on his team that's not going to do what he wants you to do, he's not leaning into your skill sets necessarily because he knows what he does works. Like, we saw Brandon Ayuk in the doghouse for a year and a half when he was an incredible player.
But is that the majority or minority?
It's the minority. Like, you have to be one of the best, and you have to have a scheme that really is good enough to warrant that level of play. So for Brian Callahan, I'm not ready to say anything like that. And so I think he would be foolish not to try to tailor it to his team. Now, this is something that Zach and I have talked about, and we're hoping to get some answers out of Brian on Saturday because we just haven't had a chance to ask yet.
Too many Traylon Burks questions.
It's right. Something that they have talked about in the YouTube series that the Titans have put out is how they want to be an explosive identity offense this year. And that's kind of a different message from the efficiency that they talked about last year. And so that's an example of, okay, well, knowing the way that Cam Ward operated in college and was one of the better guys at creating explosives, is that an example of a coach changing, tailoring his offense to the strengths of a player? So that's the kind of thing that I want to ask him about, and I think that would be a pretty enlightening answer.
So if you want to be an explosive offense, how come we haven't seen explosiveness at the practices in 2 days? Because you have to start that routine in that mindset that we're going to be an explosive offense. Day one, play one. Let them know we're no holds bar. We're about to be explosive like we're the greatest show on turf. I don't see that.
I hear you. I think a little patience is required. I've given some of the coaches privately a hard time for how boring their practices have been so far. And they are intentionally boring so far. They are trying to ease these guys back in, and that is an identity that they want to assume, but they have the next 5 or 6 weeks to do it.
Can I ask a question off that? Because this also goes to someone in the chat, Michael Morris, said Zach needs to pay attention to Cali Press because apparently I don't pay attention. He said OTAs, they start over on offense, and then training camp, they start over again. What? Shouldn't you, I guess apparently he said that.
Start over what?
So I guess the reason why these have been so vanilla because they're starting over the process.
See. Okay.
But my question is, shouldn't you be past the start over stage? Shouldn't we be at the stage where you're adding stuff to the plate? Because that's what mini camp and OTAs and all that stuff was for.
Yeah, I think an important distinction here is that they've not started over. It's not like day one of OTAs where things are simple. Things at practice haven't been simple. They just have been not the big flashy plays. A lot of NFL plays are your 3 and 4 and 5 yard completions and your runs for 2 or 3 or 4 yards. And so they're focused on the elements of their playbook that are, I think a big theme these first 2 days have been timing based routes. I think that pocket management and some of the fundamentals when it comes to just the things that you have to do well as an offense before you can graduate to let's maintain a pocket for 3.5 seconds and take bombs away down the field. Like, that's the next step in the progression of a good offense. And if they can't master important but less exciting things, which they've worked on these first 2 days, then the explosives aren't going to. I mean, we saw the Titans, they had some explosives last year. How often did it matter? They couldn't do the normal stuff well.
Gotcha.
They had explosive plays too. I missed those too.
They were.
It was very low. They were there, but it was there.
But through the first
whenever
2
they
days,
had them, it was the fact that they couldn't do anything else well that made them not matter, right?
so do the first 2 days. Who's won, offense or defense?
I'd say defense because the offense day
Both
one.
days.
Well, it was more the offense losing day
totality,
one
I'm
than the
not-
defense losing. Like the defense didn't really. I didn't think the defense was incredible. I don't think anybody was incredible day one. Like it was very much a shake the rust off day. It felt like today. It definitely felt like the defense won. Cody Barton was flying around. He was really impressive today. He's somebody that I think is going to be a really good player for this team, and maybe isn't going to get the buzz that he deserves. But he's not given me any reason to be concerned about what he's going to be for this team. I do think that the offense is coming into things pretty slowly, which it's 2 days in July practice. Maybe it means something. Maybe it doesn't.
Standouts, real quick.
Yeah, Cody Barton for sure has stood out so far to me. I think, especially in day one, Alec Iamaner is somebody that stood out to me. Zach can check me on that, but I think that he was somebody that stood out to him as well. Let's see. I mean, those are the two. Kevin Winston. I've enjoyed watching him for the first time out there. The rookie safety. He's somebody that definitely looks the part. He had what really wasn't an interception today. He called it an interception, but it was more a catch by Josh Wiley that Kevin Winston just stole out of his hands and wrestled away
That's
from him.
considered an interception.
Yeah. So it's stat sheet interception, but I don't want to.
Right. He didn't intercept the ball.
It was not the quarterback's fault. This was Josh Wiley's fault for not holding on, and it was a good play.
There's a whole bunch of stats like that.
You're right. You're right. I just didn't want to misconstrue that point of it. So he came flying down. He was not already in the box, so that was a really impressive play by him. So those are the guys that come to mind.
I am excited for Kevin Winston. Real quick, talking about explosives and all that kind of stuff with Brian Callahan, do you think that there is a marriage where he's going to adapt the offense to Cam Ward? Because I think you could go back in hindsight and say that he did not do that with Will Levis or Mason Rudolph, to be quite honest with you. So do you think that he's actually adapting and putting in stuff that is Cam Ward friendly?
It's a good question. I would want you and I to ask him questions to try to get to the bottom of that before I really gave you a clear answer on that. My hope is that he is doing those things because I think that that's what good coaches do. And I think if you asked him, he would say, yes, of course, I want you to do this. But in practice, what does that look like? What are the actual actionable things that you are doing to tailor it to Cam Ward? Let's try to get to the bottom of that.
Final question before we go to break here. If the defense continues to stack victories at training camp like they did last year,
right?
What does that say about this team going forward?
It clearly means that the defense is way better than any of us are expecting.
I don't think that's what it means.
It can't possibly mean that the offense is bad, right? Like there's always training camp's awesome when you only play your own team because you can see in it whatever you want to see in it. I do think, in all seriousness, once the pads come on, at least from a trenches standpoint, the offense is going to get back because this offensive line is probably going to hand it to this defensive line a number of days, and I think the quarterbacks are going to be relatively comfortable. Now, let's see what happens when they go and play Tampa and play Atlanta, and we get some. But if there's your real concern. If this offensive line's getting whooped up on by Arden Key and Femi Oladejo,
yeah.
There's two other guys there named Sweat and Simmons.
That's fair. But this offensive line. I mean, I don't think this is controversial. They should be better than this defensive line.
Oh no, they should be, but that so far we haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So you got to believe what your eyes are showing you.
That's fair. I'm mostly talking about the tackles. If they're getting because that's what we've seen the past couple of training camps. Tackles getting killed. So those guys need to hold up.
Well, they don't have a 10-sack guy on the team, right?
Well, they barely have one-sack guys on the team.
You forget the last year Arden Key he'd be coming off the training camp field and just be like, how many sacks today, Arden? He'd be like, 9.
Yeah.
And it was real. He was just killing guys out there. It wasn't an Arden Key problem. It was a Titans tackle problem.
Yeah. All right. That's Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports talking all things Tennessee Titans. When we come back, we'll continue our Titans discussion as Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Have you noticed how unreliable things have become these days? Like when someone tells you it'll be ready at 4 p.m. and it's not, people are really tired of that stuff. So if you've had it with the unreliable vehicle repair shops, come on over to Eurofix. Eurofix turns unreliable into reliable, and Eurofix has your vehicle ready when it's really ready so you don't have to stand around and wait all freaking day. And Eurofix repairs all European cars with quality that beats the dealer pricing and without any trouble. And that's because dealer repair shops are designed to pay virtually all of the dealership's overhead, and that's a lot of money. So why would you want to pay for that? Well, at Eurofix, reliable also means a 3-year nationwide warranty plus a free loaner car with every repair appointment. So make sure you call ahead, as loaner cars are very, very popular. So if you're tired of the unreliable repair shops, come on over to Reliable, and it'll be Eurofix, family owned for 26 years. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can visit them online at myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com. But always tell Blaine, such
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. We got a report from On3 Sports that just came across our desk here, the news desk of Cover 2. And it says, report, North Carolina is exploring a potential move from the ACC to the SEC.
No way!
Are they suicidal? They're not ready for this.
Is this the Bill Belichick hype?
Yes, this must
Is
be.
that what this is?
Of course, they show.
I thought the ACC had some restrictions on moving out.
This
Don't
is
they have
why.
some- or is that remember Clemson or Florida State? Who was it?
It was Florida State, Clemson. I think North Carolina might have been a part of that. Who was suing the ACC?
Yeah.
Here, it was Florida State and Clemson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But here's what you need to know. This is why they're not ready for the SEC, because the pitcher chosen for this North Carolina thing was the mascot wearing a basketball uniform. You're not ready for the SEC. This is a football country.
SEC is a basketball country too.
It's basketball country too, but this is football country.
They all sports tournament.
Yeah. Well, they're every sport.
Yeah.
And North Carolina ain't ready for this smoke. And speaking of college football, there's something I had to get to the other day. I told you off air a couple days ago, but the ESPN took every top 25 team and assigned each top 25 team an arch villain, someone who stands in their way. Coaches, players, teams that have the chance to make the whole season for one of these top 25 teams to go south. And Alabama, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think this is disrespectful to Tennessee fans. I think this is disrespectful to the Tennessee Volunteer football program. Because when it came down to Alabama, they put Vanderbilt as their arch nemesis for the 2025 season.
What?
Not the University of Tennessee, which is who I would probably put as an arch villain, because it's just for 2025 season. Obviously, Auburn and them are always rivals, but it's just for the 2025 season.
This is only because Vanderbilt beat them?
And it's only because Vanderbilt beat them. It's ridiculous. It says here, remember when Saban won 100 straight games against unranked opponents, the longest streak in the AP poll era? Now, all of a sudden, the Crimson Tide are 2-3 against their past 5 unranked foes.
Ooh.
A stretch that started with a stunning 40-35 loss to Vanderbilt, which came only a week after Kalen DeBoer beat number 2 ranked Georgia in the SEC opener as Alabama's head coach. It was the first time Alabama had lost to Vanderbilt since 1984. Alabama will get its shot at payback this season on October 4th when Vanderbilt visits Bryant-Denny Stadium. The loss to Vanderbilt a year ago ignited what was the first 3-loss regular season for Alabama since 2010. Judging by some of the comments from Alabama players this offseason, nobody will need to be reminded the Tide. Mind the Tide when the Commodores are coming to town. I'm sorry, I ain't worried about Vanderbilt, and I'm sorry to all the fans that are Vanderbilt fans, but I'm not worried about Vanderbilt. I'm way more worried, and I have no clue who University of Tennessee's quarterback is. I'd be way more worried about the University of Tennessee, that third Saturday in October game, than I would have Vanderbilt. I think this is a ridiculous thing to put as arch nemesis, and I think Tennessee fans should find it disrespectful. What do you think?
I don't know if they really care. I mean, or is it because I know it's a big rivalry? I mean, you would know better than me, Jackson. I mean, the rivalry between Alabama and Tennessee. I
think Tennessee just expects to win this point. How can it be an arch rivalry?
I see, that's an arch nemesis talking right there.
What did he say?
He says he thinks Tennessee just expects to win, so it's not really much of a rivalry anymore.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Vandy, Alabama is going to be a great game.
I think it's going to be a butt whooping. It's going to be a great game for you because you're going to see Vanderbilt get their butts whipped.
I'd rather see Alabama lose again.
Well, guess what? You're not going to see it, so buckle up,
That was
Sally.
so much fun to watch.
I don't know. We must see our local Ty Simpson, see how he's developing throughout the season.
Well, it
we
really
all
does.
Know Alabama, they have high expectation, and if he doesn't live it today, we'll straight bench him because the coach really, if they don't do what they're supposed to do, Alabama expectations, he will be gone in a minute.
Apparently, expectations are really sky high from all the national media members and all this stuff because they think that it's really Ty Simpson is the question mark. Everything else from defense to the offensive line to the playmakers It's all there. It's all Ty Simpson. What you got, Jackson?
It will be Tennessee, a native son of Tennessee, and versus the adopted son of Tennessee.
There you go. I'm just saying, I, as an Alabama fan, would be way more scared of a University of Tennessee game than I would be of a Vanderbilt game. And I don't know, and I get that Vanderbilt kind of, I guess, kick-started this whole stretch, but I have a hard, that 3-loss, stretch, I have a hard time just being any kind of fear of Vanderbilt as an Alabama fan.
Well, I don't think it's fear. I think you just are still upset over your loss, It's just like getting, you break up with your old girlfriend and now all of a sudden you see her with that new guy, but you don't care about her anymore. But at the same time, you just like, ooh, that pisses you off, right? This is the feeling that you feel as an Alabama fan. Like, that should have never have happened. But it did.
And maybe there is something to
it. Is he talking smack already to Alabama?
He's just been talking smack. I don't think he's quit talking smack about anybody.
Oh, wow.
Anybody and everybody. Hey. He's talking
That's
smack.
His style, man.
That's his style. And listen, I think I was talking with Slay about it, and it's like, I don't want to really bet against Vanderbilt in some of these other games because he does have that little personality to him where he could win some games and all that kind of stuff, but not that Alabama game. Let's go to the phones. Tubi wants to talk about Alabama. Tubi, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Appreciate that. It's Toby.
Oh, sorry.
By the way, happy birthday, Hitman. And just want to say, nobody's scared of Alabama. Kalen DeBoering is a fish out of water. He never should have came to the SEC. He should have stayed over there at irrelevant land, winning his irrelevant little games. It showed last year when you got wide receivers doing jump shots, for God's sake. He has lost total control of this team. He will never be a Saban. Alabama's demise started in 22 when we kicked the 52-yarder. That's all I got to say.
All right. Thank you, Tubi.
Favorite call of the week.
Well, listen, the only reason I call him Tubi is because Jackson put in Tooby. That's not how you spell Toby. So, and after that call, he deserved to be called Tubi. Kalen DeBoer has not lost his team. Come on, guys. All right.
You got to say something, man.
That will do it for us. Sorry to Tubi, a.k.a. Toby. That'll do it for us. Straight Chill's up next. This has been Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 105 The Zone. And in the meantime,
in between time.
Peace.